Welcome back to Graceful Art Designs. Today I'm adding some highlights to two little paintings I did some time ago, which were done in, and this one was done in two shades of pink, and this one was done in, well, it was pink and white, and the white and pink blended made the second shade of pink. And this one was done in two shades of red. Now I've added on a few highlights here and there, but I'm not going to leave them like that. I'm going to just let them sit there for a bit, and then I'll drag them down once they're a little drier. So here I'm adding some green to the red leaves. I could have used a bigger brush. So this is just going to be a quick painting, just to, I did these paintings originally just to show what one can do with a limited palette. And now I'm showing you how you can add to that palette. Rose leaves can be a variety of colours. They can be red, they can be green, they can be a mixture of green and yellow, and they can be all different shapes depending on what stage they're at, depending on whether they've been frosted by insects or just dropped off. And so here I'm adding some more yellow. I'll add some here. So adding the different colours onto your brush like this, a bit of red, a bit of white, a bit of green. There was a light green there, and just mixing them all together. Put them down on your canvas like this. You can get a lovely effect. This is too thick, way too thick, but that's the idea. Without actually having to blend, they just come off blended. Definitely want a little bit of sunshine in them. And you can make them light green if you want. So the top ones should be a little lighter, and the bottom ones a little darker. So I'll just add another touch of the yellow out there, make them a bit bigger. And just putting this filbert brush down in this way already makes the leaf shape, so that you don't really have to try to paint a leaf. And you just do point through like that, and there you've got your veins and your striations automatically. So here I'll do another one. You can do this sort of to give you a guide as to where you want to go, and then this one you can come down a bit more, and the same on this one. Start wider, and then you get narrower as you go to the top. So that gives some nice, interesting leaves here. And they can even overlap a bit onto the rose, why not? And here at the bottom, well, this looks like one leaf, but I'm going to make it into two leaves. So it's going to cover the rose a bit, so as to just be a bit more compositionally more interesting. And just turn the canvas this way. the same. I like the screen colour, but so one can go that way. And we can go this way. Not everything has to be in straight lines, in circles. I'm a bit of a left brainer, so I do tend to do things always very symmetrically, but that's it's more creative to do things sometimes asymmetrically. And just let your artistic flair show. And now I've cleaned the brush and I'm going to just drag these highlights down a bit, so that they're not going to change the colour of the rose. They're just going to add that little glint of sunlight here and there. Because there already are highlights on the rose in that I've used dark red and light red. And so I don't need to go too crazy with the highlights here. But I do need to clean my brush a bit more. So a bit too much green was coming off on the brush there. So I'll just put back some colour here. And if I see it's too pink, then I'll add back some red. I just happen to have some red on my palette at the moment. So a rose is a beautiful flower, an interesting flower. It can have so much depth, so much beauty, so many layers. I mean, this is a wide open rose that you're looking down on it, but mostly you see this rose from the side and you don't really see the depth of the rose unless it's dying, and then petals start falling off. And so you don't often see paintings like this with the rose wide open, but it is a nice way to paint them, because then you can see how each layer adds to the next and unfolds. So it's a little bit of oil on my brush, not too much, just to help to move the paint a bit. And now it's very dry. So I want to put back a bit of the red here. It's a bit too much. I have a highlight there. And that's how you get what you really want, because it's, I have done paintings where I said I want to just do a petal with one stroke, and you can, but I mean, it's not always going to give you the look that you want. It's not going to give you the life and the liveliness that you want, and the movement that you want in the rose. So you do have to come back and add other colours, other shades. But the thing is to try and keep it as light and as thin as possible, so that you don't get thick crusts forming. And also, if you want the leaves, the petals to look sort of translucent, then you want to use as little paint as possible, as few strokes as possible. Like here, I've got no extra paint on my brush. I'm just moving the paint that's there. And I'm going to add a touch to the center as well. So here I've just taken the brush around with a little touch of red, and now I've made those little marks around the center, and now I'm just fanning the yellow and the red mixture out. this completes that painting. Until it's dry, and then you'll see some changes. I can definitely subdue these highlights a bit more. To be honest, I have studied the red roses in my garden when I had a garden full of roses, and I never really saw that many highlights on the red roses. Unlike on the other, the white and the pink, I saw a lot of highlights. But these were always a lovely deep red, velvety red, and that's what I wanted to see. So this, again, what's showing in the camera is not what you actually see on the canvas in front of me. It's much deeper, and the highlights are much